Enable notifications by ringing the bell. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back doing Dead Meat. I know it's been a while since we've done these. It's been a couple weeks. I think maybe 2-3 weeks since we've done one. It's been since Heather and Ben haven't been in the videos as much. And the reason for that is because, scheduling conflicts with everything they got going on and all that, and also things going on with Ben that's really prevented him from recording with us on certain things. But with that in mind, we are not going to do the Friday the 13th series. We're not going to continue it until they come back down and are able to record with us again. So until then, we're going to watch some random Dead Meats. And the ones that we found on here, it was a little bit of a, semi-coin flip. I pulled out a guitar pick and just said, heads this, tails that. And what it fell on, what fate decided for us, was The Mist. The third Stephen King adaptation, directed by Frank Darabont. First being Shawshank, second being The Green Mile, and third being The Mist. Now, this one being odd because this is the only one that could really qualify as a horror movie, because Shawshank is more of a psychological, inspirational study. The Green Mile also inspirational as well, plus very, very dramatic, very sad. And then there's The Mist, which a lot of people were interested to see how Frank Darabont would adapt this, because The Mist is sort of a, like, it's sort of an overly ominous thing, kind of like Cthulhu in some way. You're not 100% sure of what is out there and all this and all that.
It's got a very Lovecraftian feel to it.
Yeah, and a lot of people were interested to see how Darabont would handle that. And a lot of people said,
it's almost like Silent Hill meets Lovecraft, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah, kind of. And a lot of people have said, and a lot of people were wondering, and actually Stephen King himself was so pleased with how Frank Darabont did some of the things in this. He said, "Why didn't I think of that?"
I was impressed because in the original novella, like, his ending, Stephen King is notorious for, like, sort of anticlimactic endings, or just sort of lackluster endings, and this is like the movie that out-King Stephen King.
Yeah. And Stephen King himself was pleased with it, and was actually kind of mad that he couldn't think of that. But all right, so we've got Dead Meat queued up here. Let's hear what James A. Janice himself has got to say. Also, this is Nick's first introduction to this channel, and we'll have to get his take on what he thinks of this channel after we're finished. So, without further ado, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Still a cool intro.
Where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at The Mist, a 2007 Frank Darabont film based on a Stephen King novella that I actually managed to read in preparation for this video. The Mist is Frank Darabont's third Stephen King adaptation, after writing and directing both Shawshank Redemption in '94 and The Green Mile in '99. And after The Mist, Darabont would go on to create The Walking Dead, which is why you'll find no less than 4 actors here who eventually wound up on that show. The Mist tells the story of survivors trapped in a supermarket after a heavy fog rolls into town and encompasses everything around them, cutting visibility down to nothing and hiding things that go bump in the mist.
Like how his prop is just a shelf full of supermarket goods.
That's actually really good.
With a lot of philosophical and religious discussion to go around as the situation grows.
This is
One last
comedy.
note, I initially watched this movie in the black and white version because that's how Darabont wanted it to be made and shown. But I'll be using the color print for this video because that's the way it was released. And because if the Night of the Living Dead kill counts views are any indication, y'all don't give a damn about black and white movies. Alright, let's get to the game.
Wow.
Damn.
That's a deep cut.
The movie begins with a storm in the small town of Bridgeton, Maine. Local artist Dave
Maine.
takes his
Take a
8-year-old
shot.
Billy and his wife Stephanie downstairs to weather it out. Good call, Dave, because this one's a doozy, as evidenced by the giant tree popping in through the living room window that night. While surveying the damage the next morning, they find another tree has fallen and smushed their boathouse. As they look across the lake, they notice some smoke on the water, but luckily no fire in the sky. David walks over to his neighbor Norton, and returning played by Andre Brower, to exchange insurance info since it was his tree that broke his boathouse. Norton's had a bad morning too.
Actually didn't realize he was in that movie because I have since then watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. Love Andre Brower.
So I never recognize in retrospect that actors were in movies. It's like I watch something that I definitely remember them from, and then I go back and I'm like, oh, they were in that movie. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I've had that too.
Between that and all the radio stations and phones being down, something's clearly gone wrong. Inside the store, we meet some of the ensemble cast. The most important are Ollie, an unassuming-looking guy who I promise you will love by the end of this movie, and Mrs. Carmody, played by Marcia Gay Harden, who I promise you will hate with every fiber of your being.
Yep.
Yes.
Irene, an elderly school teacher.
Love Irene.
Patty, a trio of military dudes from Arrowhead, including Private Star Killer Jessup, guys for store employee Sally,
And Star Killer.
That's what he said.
Oh, yeah.
He smushed that in there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Missed
Tell
that.
the soldiers that their leave has been canceled, and after a bunch of emergency vehicles drive by, a siren goes off.
That's always such a good audio cue to have in a film, especially with like something like this.
That was another thing that just made me link it to Silent Hill.
Yeah. The incoming the night is coming, and you must seek shelter.
Just part of me wondered if one or the other, Stephen King or the guys over at Konami, had seen or read, like, like obviously Silent Hill came out before this movie adaptation, but maybe they had read the novella. I don't know exactly when it came out.
Yeah.
It's the end of days.
Oh, God. Here we go. Hey! Carol.
Won't somebody here see a lady home?
Everyone diverts their eyes, so she leaves the store without them, heading off into the mist alone to go find Terminus.
Oh, Carol.
Sometime later,
Find Terminus.
and finds the generator smoking. He's all like, somebody should stop this. So he turns it off, and on his way back, he hears some really loud creaking and sees the loading dock gate get bumping. He asks Ollie and these two mechanics, Myron and Jim, if they heard it, but they just think he's hearing things in the dark. They're joined by another store employee, Norm, who I didn't mention earlier because I figured everybody knows his name. They all head to the back room, where Myron says something's blocking the generator's exhaust port on the outside, so Norm volunteers to go out there and unblock it. David tries to stop him, but Jim calls him a big old sissy. They open the gate a bit, and while they're laughing at David's sense of caution, a tentacle slithers in and grabs Norm's leg, tripping him to the ground. David tries to save him as the mechanics freeze in fear, and the tentacles rip skin from Norm's leg and neck. Ollie's a G, though, and grabs a fire axe, but before he can bring it down on the tentacle, Norm is pulled away. The tentacles keep on coming, like pop-ups on a hentai site, and Norm is dragged out to his death off screen for the second kill of the movie. When David and Ollie get the gate closing again, the tentacles start to retreat, but David breaks him off a piece of that squid-like arm and closes out a wonderful action horror sequence. After David likely punches Jim in the face for getting Norm killed, they come out of the back room, and David changes the shirt while talking to Amanda. Girl, she don't mind. The fellas are all
because this is post-Punisher Thomas Jane, and he still had some of those muscles on him.
Better boyfriend than the governor.
Better boyfriend than Shane.
Think they're playing a trick on him since he's an out-of-towner and has payback for the time he sued David. Their little spat attracts the attention of everyone else in the
It's so weird now because I see him as Captain Holt.
In the meantime, shut the fuck up and listen.
Thank you, Ollie.
Something out of the mist took Norm away. There's obviously skepticism, but David takes Bud and this biker dude to the back and shows them the tentacle, which reacts violently after a poke and then turns black and starts smoking before dissolving away into nothingness. That's proof enough for Bud.
It appears we may have a problem of some magnitude here.
While people stack bags of fertilizer and dog food against the windows as defense, Mrs. Carmody prays and asks God if he can help her save some of the people in the store. It's a great monologue from Marcia Gay Harden, whose performance in this movie earned her a Saturn Award, so that's pretty cool. Amanda interrupts.
Should have got a Golden Globe at least. Come on.
To use the bathroom, but also offering her friendship.
Today I need a friend like you. I'll just have myself a little squat and shit one out.
So that's a no.
Wow.
Camps of ideology begin to form in the
What a
store.
biggity bitch.
There's no proof to David's tale, while Carmody says this is all straight out of Revelations.
And the temple was filled with smoke
Oh
from
man,
the
here
glory
we go.
of God.
She goes on a real fire and brimstone sermon about sinners in the midst of an angry God and starts touching a kid's face.
See, she also reminded me of like Claudia and what's her name from Silent Hill,
Amanda's had enough.
Another down payment.
like 2 and 3, I think, or no, 1 and 3.
More people will be taken in the night. Billy oversees the military men having a hushed discussion before David tries to comfort him by saying Stephanie will be just fine at home. Thinking of contingencies, Dan asks if anyone has a gun, but the only one packing is Amanda, and she's not an experienced shooter. Does anyone in this place know how to shoot well?
I do.
Hell yeah, you do, Ollie, because you want unassuming badass.
Ollie's the best character in this movie.
State champion in '94.
Thornton's had enough and prepares to leave with his group of skeptics, and Biker Dude says he'll go with them just to grab a shotgun from Ambrose's truck outside. He also agrees to tie a rope around his waist to let everyone know how far they make it in case anything happens to them. Carmody taunts them as they go outside, but they press on regardless. And this is the last time we see Norton and his crew, so I'm going to add him and his 6 nameless red shirts to the count right now, meaning all can look forward to a promotion. 9? I think it's safe to say they're dead. Something obviously goes awry when the rope first goes slack and then is pulled out.
9.
David's hand. The rope is pulled skyward, then falls slack again, and when David reels it in, it looks like he caught a big one, or half a big one anyway.
Yep.
He drags the biker's lower body towards the store, confirming his death and pushing our count into double digits. Night settles in, and we get a non-book scene between Jessup and Sally in the back of the store, so that we can care more when one of them inevitably dies. Yeah, build up those pathos points. Out front, we get the first good look at a creature from the mist when a bunch of big nasty bugs start crawling all around on the window.
Stop shining the light out the windows, you numbnuts.
Mrs. Harmony's mind.
Locusts upon the earth.
The bugs may look real gross, but they don't seem like much of a threat. Unlike these pterodactyl-looking motherfuckers who start crashing into the window as they're grabbing their midnight snacks. Nothing gets you flying like the promise of fourth meat.
This was the point where I was just really like, is this a Silent Hill movie? Because
Yeah.
both of those are enemies in the first Silent Hill.
Yep.
Creepy, like, bug things and big pterodactyl demons.
To the ground and ripping out his throat, which does old Tom in pretty quickly. Too bad for Tom, no one was there to drax up them Terrys when they got froggy. And right after Tom's death, Sally taps out too, dying from the bug's poison and bumping our kill count up to a dozen. David lights the hungry dactyl on fire. David has to chase down with his mob and beat to death. I don't know what part of that whole situation looked like fun, but this dude Joe wants in on it.
Like, those effects weren't the best, but they weren't bad either.
Yeah.
I was kind of impressed with that, like the flaming pterodactyl.
Stands perfectly still while praying, and so the bug flies off, further cementing her sense of self-righteousness. It's not until Ollie is finally able to hunt down the first Terry and shoot it.
Disappointing the whole audience.
As the rational
They're like, stinger, stinger.
One of the not-so-rational patrons tells David that Mrs. Carmody was right about people being killed in the night. This lady is turning to something extreme out of hopelessness, which Hattie also does, but in a different way, when Amanda finds her dead by suicide later that night, an empty bottle of pills next to her. David and some of the others start putting together a plan. They'll hit up the pharmacy next door to get pain pills for Joe, who's so badly burnt from the dactyl attack that he's sincerely asking for the gun so he can kill himself and end the pain. And then they'll get the hell out of there entirely. David has a Land Cruiser that fits 8 or closer to the store than Norton's people got, and the plan is to get there and head south before Carmody and her growing congregation become a problem.
We can start worrying about who she's gonna sacrifice to make it all better.
After a scene filled with some admittedly clunky dialogue, with everyone nakedly stating a bunch of philosophical viewpoints about the nature of humankind and such, David's fears are validated when Carmody gets everyone riled up against their plan to leave, saying it'll attract more of God's wrath or whatever. Irene shuts her up with a can of peas.
Thank you, Irene.
Miserable buzzard.
Then joins David's foraging group, which includes Jim the asshole mechanic, Bob, the brother of burn victim Joe, Jessup the arrowhead soldier, Dan, Ollie, and this dude Mike. They walk through heavy mist to the pharmacy for another great extended sequence. Irene helps David and Ollie find the painkillers they need as the others discover they're not alone. In fact, they find another 4 people in the store just hanging around. I've shown 3 here, I'll show the 4th in a minute when the movie gets to it.
Yeah.
Body grabs Jim from behind, and it turns out to be the MP officer from earlier. He asks for help as he writhes out of pain and guilt. Then up from the skin comes a bubbling speed. That is.
There it is.
Gross.
Falls to the ground and dies when his back bursts open to a whole host of these baby nasties. Mama spiders have shown up, including in a shot.
Yeah,
That scene makes you
feel.
makes you itch a little.
Yep.
Bobby's leg and messes him up real good. As the gang starts to retreat, another hits Mike in the face. He drops to the ground.
Hi, Mike.
And is quickly swarmed and eaten by baby and mama spiders alike. It's a good old-fashioned family dinner. Through the power of Ollie's firearm, Irene's homemade flamethrower, and Dan's proficiency with piercing weapons, they're able to escape the massacre, but not before Bobby succumbs to his leg wound and bleeds out to death, left behind by Jessup and David on the floor of the pharmacy for spider chow. They get back, and the tale of their adventure causes a panic in the rest of the store. Sometime later, David wakes up from passing out to the news that Joe has passed away during the night via infection from his burn wounds. So we'll add him to the kill count and just take a minute to reflect on how much that pharmacy trip was all in vain. It seems like all it really did was inspire another passionate sermon from Carmody, who's now converted a whole bunch of people to her cause, including Jim, the asshole mechanic. That's good enough reason for David and his crew to
He didn't even know what expiation meant before that.
I don't think he still doesn't.
That MP officer was saying this whole thing was their fault. Jessup claims ignorance, and so they go to look for the other 2, finding them in the back room where they've hung themselves. Apparently, the Arrowhead Project was responsible for this whole thing. Something about portals to other dimensions and the storm messing up their power. It's never fully articulated, but that's what we're working with here. As Jessup pleads innocence to David, he's grabbed by Jim, who takes him out and throws him to the ground in front of the rest of the survivors, blaming him for bringing down the wrath of God. Harmony takes this thread and runs with it, spitting a whole yarn about how pissed off God is at us for messing with Mother Nature. In the ensuing frenzy, Jessup gets beaten a whole bunch and eventually stabbed by the butcher, Mr. Mackey. I just wanted a little expiation, Mackey and other rabid devotees crowd serve Jessup straight out the front door and throw him to the wild, where he comes face to face with an accolade-looking beast who snatches him up and pulls him back into the mist to eat. At least we'll always know how big Jessup's hand was. The next morning at dawn, David's group gets together and tries to make an exit, but Carmody stops them. Yeah, we need to clean up on aisle 1. There's a crazy religious fanatic with a knife.
I am
his vessel?
No, you're just a crazy bitch who thinks she's the Pope.
And start to move in as Carmody orders them to grab Billy and Amanda for human sacrifice. Her yelling is cut short with a gunshot to the abdomen by Ollie, who follows up with a headshot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
As one of the most easy-to-hate characters I've seen in a very long time. Ollie's sharpshooting is enough to stop the rest of the crazies, and David's group finally makes the
Thank
big
you,
hit.
Ollie.
They get a little turned around in the parking lot, and Byron, the other mechanic, is killed when a spider tackles him to the ground and devours him. Byron's death brings us to 26 victims, officially passing Jason X for the most victims in a kill count so far.
And we're not
Ollie does
done
a little
yet.
better than Byron, making it to the Land Cruiser first and opening all the doors for everyone else. But then the Acklay comes back and grabs him.
Damn, that was so... Damn, I hated that.
Yeah.
I friggin' hated that, because I loved Ollie, man.
So much badassery inside. The Acklay leaves, allowing David and his crew to get inside his car.
And I think it was the Acklay that killed the biker. Either that or it was a flying creature because of how high it went. I hated when he got it too, because I liked that old man. I liked his dialogue between him and the biker. It was like, son, you got balls of brass.
They're finally ready to leave the store behind and begin a somber finale to the movie, scored by a chanting choir. They drive past the store for one last slow-motion look at all the hopeless people left inside. Sorry, bud, so close. First stop on the gang's fun little road trip is David's home, but that place gets 0 stars out of 5 since it's totally overrun with spider webs, and also because David's wife Stephanie is dead. And that's just not how you get a good Yelp rating, Mist Monsters. You can't go around putting people in spider cocoons like that. The group drives south, determined to see how far their tank of gas will take them and see if they can get out of the mist. Though they pass a lot of destruction along the way, we only see a single body, a little girl on a school bus, so we'll add her to the count as well. Pressing onward, they also encounter an enormous beast with a bunch of legs and tentacles hanging from its torso. A
Cthulhu?
super image that singularly conveys how foobar the situation has become, and then their gas runs out. Now I'm gonna tell you straight up, in the book, this is pretty much where it ends. In fact, they don't even explicitly run out of gas. They just pull into a Howard Johnson's and bunker down there for the night, and it ends. But the movie's got one more beat of this story to tell. As they sit there in silence, they hear distant noises from horrors unseen. An unspoken agreement settles between them, and David checks his ammunition to find only 4 bullets remaining.
There's 5 of us.
I'll figure something out.
And you're watching like, okay, but you know, what's really gonna happen, right? Especially when Billy wakes up and looks at his dad with wide eyes. But then...
And then... Yep.
Really? Yeah,
Yep.
really. He did it. The movie went there. David freaking Morrissey killed Amanda, and his
I couldn't believe that when I saw it in theaters.
Spare them the horrors from the mist. It's a total shock and absolutely devastating. He tries in vain to shoot himself, but there are no more bullets, so he steps outside of his vehicle and starts yelling, ready for his inevitable death. Out of the mist come some noises, and then a tank and soldiers. Tons of them, in fact, and a Humvee carrying a group of rescuees, including Melissa McBride and her children. As David looks around in shock, he sees the military laying waste to the creatures around them, and the mist finally receding. David stammers unintelligibly, his brain broken by
Still don't understand how she unarmed made it through the mist. She must have ran into them like a block away.
Yeah, just
something.
Freak happenstance or something.
But, like, I mean, if she did, you'd think she would have been like, there's all these people in this grocery store right over there, you know? But, like, how did she live that long? How? She must have been stealthy as crap and, like, hiding under cars and stuff. I don't know.
God, dude.
There needs to be, like, an alternate story told of, like, her after she leaves that grocery store, like, how she managed to get to the military, because I think it would be sick. Like, or somebody needs to make a video game of it.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, you know what? I could see a Silent Hill mod with her, with that being her, with her being like the... This is just... Okay, your convo about Silent Hill makes me even more pissed that we're not getting Silent Hills.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Konami. Fuck you.
Konami, you're a bunch of morons.
You
need to go and apologize to Hideo.
And Del Toro.
And Del Toro. And Norman Reedus.
Yes. For wasting everyone's time.
Yes, and then, like, once Hideo is done with Death Stranding, you need to invite him back. You need to invite all 3 of them back and do that project.
No, you know they won't.
That's the only way that you are going to reconcile with all of your fans. Because you done took Metal Gear's name in vain and screwed it up and made Survive, and nobody gave a shit.
Oh, and they also took his name off of Metal Gear 5. Let's not forget that.
Like...
Oh, God.
Konami. I'm not even going to... You don't deserve the respect of your name being pronounced correct.
Con artistry.
Exactly.
Sorry. That's what I'll call them. Con artistry.
It's like, you guys need to get your shit straight.
Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. But anyway, on to the kill count.
had so far in a kill count. Of the victims, 21 were male and 9 were
Yep.
female.
Little half dude.
I love the legs. That's a good touch.
Time of 126 minutes, that comes out to a kill on average every 3.71 minutes, which is like, wow, you crazy, miss. Golden chainsaw for coolest kill goes to the military police officer.
Yeah, that was pretty gruesome.
That was nasty, and I loved every second of it.
Disgusting the way his back breaks open to hatch 1,000 tiny spiders.
There's not many things that make me go like, but that's one of them.
Yeah.
And that's it. The Mist has gained a reputation for one of the saddest movie endings ever, and I was lucky enough
Saddest? Shocking. Not just sad. Green Mile was...
Halloween spirit with Trick or Treat. And listen, I'm sorry I'm not able to cover Michael Myers right now, but when I do, I want to be able to cover all 10 Halloween movies, and I definitely don't have the time to do that right now. So until next week, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching my kill count for The Mist. I want to thank some of my patrons like Dylan Tavares, Ellen Rilpley, and Jeremiah Walton. I know that my beard is gone. I had to shave it for my Pennywise costume. Go to my Instagram to check out pictures. It looks great. Don't leave comments talking about my face, because if you do, I'll know you didn't make it to the end of this video. Don't cut short my watch time, motherfucker. Expiation!
I like
James is
the
a funny
outro.
guy, dude.
Yeah,
I love James.
I think you've just cemented me having to waste like the next week watching most of his videos. So this is exactly the kind of stuff that I just watch all the time for the
That
entertainment.
stuff is so well put together. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like that could easily be a segment on like a primetime like TV show. Like I could have seen that being a slot on like Attack of the Show on G4 or something. Back
Oh,
in the
yeah.
day.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
dude, definitely. But with that's the beauty of the internet is that you're getting this stuff and you're getting it for free. I mean,
Right.
I mean, and he releases his stuff early for patrons. So if you want to help support him on Patreon, feel free. I mean, because the guy, in my opinion, has earned it and then some.
So that's like same deal with Brave Wilderness. It's like that could easily have been like on Animal Planet back in the day or
Yeah.
on National Geographic now. Like I really appreciate people on the internet that bring us content like that we don't get on TV and otherwise and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's just like all the next generation are going to the internet. You see, some of them will get TV deals. You know, it's just like Lena Dunham, which I'm comparing James A. Janice to Lena Dunham. I actually hate myself for that now, but Lena Dunham got a deal from HBO, and she did 3 seasons of the show Girls. Now, during that, her ego really got out of control, and she started being like really forthright with what she like. Look, be forthright with what you believe, but don't chastise others for having a different opinion. Come on, Lena, be sane. Oh wait, who am I talking to? It's Lena Dunham. But anyway, you see, you're getting stuff like this, and it's free. I mean, that's one thing. The only thing you need is an internet connection, and you need a decent enough device, either phone, computer, smart TV, to receive it. I mean, and you think about all the people out there who say, all the old TV jokes. It's just like, in the future there will be 300 stations and only one with something interesting to watch. Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's more like now there are 3 bajillion stations and like,
it's available.
Luckily, at least 25% of it is interesting to watch. So.
Yeah, well, and all of it is available to you whenever you want in any flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Pure. It's just like it's pure internet culture at its.
I don't
finest.
have to wait for like my shows on stuff that I want to see to come on. And it's like, all right, I want to watch that now. I'm like, there it is. So.
There you go.
I do have to wait sometimes for people to make more content when they don't have, enough content for me to not be able to even foreseeably get through at the moment. Like, new channel starting out and I'll watch it all and I'm like, okay, when's the next one? When's the next one?
Yeah, that's kind of how it is with Soviet Womble, because Soviet Womble, we went through pretty much his entire repertoire, and now we're pretty much at where his fans have been since the beginning, waiting 3 to 6 months for a new video. And sometimes he goes on a tear and does like 3 videos in a month, and everyone's just like, "Womble, are you okay? What are you? Did you get a new dog? Did you get a new dog? Way to go, man!" But James does, he's on a weekly schedule, and I'm not sure. Well, here's the thing: Doug Walker, he was on a weekly schedule for 5 years almost, and eventually he got burned out. Now, I'm hoping that doesn't happen with James. Because, to me, these right here have lastability. Not just lastability, but can be watched multiple times by people.
Yeah.
And they notice new and different things. It's just like you notice the stuff in his background.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's people out there who didn't notice that the first time they watched it, and then they'll go back and watch it again.
He always has props that pertain to the movie somehow. Usually pretty obvious, like Freddy's glove or something.
I missed that.
Yeah.
So,
you see, that's what I'm saying. Multiple viewings reward you.
It was like a supermarket shelf with like store goods and then a little spider web over it, because you see that in the movie,
Yeah, like for some reason I didn't even notice that. But like if I watched it again, I would be like, oh, yeah.
It's nice, but it's not intrusive.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not supposed to really notice it. It's supposed to be there to kind of complement things instead of distract. So
yeah, and honestly, I have nothing but praise for James. I mean, the content he puts out, the level of detail in his videos, and also I've actually been to some of his live streams where he edits. Like, he edits some of his videos on live streams. Yeah. And it's actually really cool to see how he is while he's editing. Like, he edits in Premiere, which that's something I really need to switch to, because Premiere is so much more easy to handle than Sony Vegas. It's just I'm so used to Sony Vegas. Right. But it's actually not Sony anymore. It's just Vegas, because the company they got bought out by an entirely different company, and I don't know the name of it. But I will say this: I look forward to doing more of these Dead Meat videos, because his quality is just so good. I mean, you see here. I mean, like you said yourself, I'm gonna waste so much time now watching these kinds of, because you love these kinds of videos.
What time you enjoy wasting is not time wasted is one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah, so. Exactly. I agree with that 100%. All right, so yeah, that was the kill count for The Mist from 2007. Probably one of the more shocking. Like when James said sad endings, to me it wasn't sad; it was shocking. Green Mile was a sad ending. Green Mile was just like, it ripped my friggin' heart out how sad it was, because what happened with John Coffey and everything. But this, nobody expected this. Nobody in the theater expected it. My dad, when it happened, in the seat beside me, my dad, the emotional cripple himself, went like jaw dropped, eyes wide open, and just like speechless. Yeah. Green Mile, my dad cried. Green Mile, my dad cried because he loves that movie. Like any Stephen King movie that's been directed by Frank Darabont, my dad loves. And I'd say Frank Darabont's probably the best person. Like, if anything, if they're ever going to do a Dark Tower movie, you know who needs to direct it?
They did do a Dark Tower
movie.
They
did.
No.
Sucked.
I don't count that one. I don't count it.
As in, if they're ever going to try it and make it work.
Yeah, if they're ever going to try and do well with it. If anything, make it a TV series like what Darabont did with The Walking Dead.
I think there's enough content there that it needs to be more than just a movie.
At least a miniseries or something.
At least it needs to be a 7-part movie series. Yeah. And have one for each book.
Like, hey, HBO, you like Westworld, right? Well, guess what? You got that and then some with The Dark Tower. Yeah. Make it happen, HBO.
I don't know. The Dark Tower is pretty clunky. Like Wolves and Song of Susanna, like you might be able to smoosh those together or something.
Hey, think about this, man. I mean, you think about The Mist. You said you didn't like the ominous ending, or like the anticlimactic ending.
Well, it just leaves you hanging. Like they kind of venture out into the mist on their own, and you don't really get anything.
Well, Frank Darabont's a great writer. Mm-hmm. Frank Darabont's a great screenplay he's great at adapting screenplays. That's one thing I love.
He could take Wolves and Song of Susanna and make them even better than they were, pretty much.
Make everything work.
I mean, I just it'll be really difficult to just put them the way they are into a movie. Like I think you have to kind of trim some stuff or something. Yeah. Because some stuff, when you try to explain it to somebody, just sounds really freaking stupid.
No, I agree. Which I think Frank Darabont recognizes that, and he'll add in scenes that make more sense. Yeah. And he'll take out the scenes that are just clunky as can be. I mean,
and likely Stephen King will end up approving of it.
Well, yeah. So. And even if he doesn't approve of it, I mean, hell, some of the changes that are made that Stephen King was very unhappy about, like The Shining. Good Lord. The Shining movie that Stanley Kubrick directed, like, it had praise across, like, at first it was disliked, but then as people started to appreciate the filmmaking techniques and everything, people enjoyed it a lot more than originally perceived. And actually people have said it's one of the few films that is superior to its base material, which...
Yeah, and then for some reason he hates it, though.
Well, he hates it because certain thematic changes to it, and also the change of... The biggest gripe he had was that the dialogue was cut back, and the dialogue was left to a more minimalist take. And also, not only that, but the changing of a mallet to an axe. He said a mallet to me is very, like, it's very scary to think about that, because it's something that you would never think to use as like a weapon to kill people.
Yeah, but it's a croquet mallet, though.
I know.
It's a horrible weapon to kill people with, because you're more liable to break the shaft than, actually...
Well, yeah, like Dawn of the Dead, the remake of Dawn of the Dead is any proof of that, because one hit from that thing and it was snapped in half.
Yeah, I mean, they're...
Yeah.
Guy had a crowbar and changed it out to a freaking croquet mallet. You kidding me, man?
I think that was the joke, though. I think they, like, that made... because of, The Shining.
That's true. But those were the biggest complaints Stephen King had. And also Kubrick's directing style pissed off a lot of the pissed off one actor in specific, Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
Because Shelley Duvall, by the end of that,
she said she was basically traumatized from it. So.
She had a nervous breakdown because of Kubrick's perfectionist ways. Which, honestly, I could see it, because Kubrick is a lot like Fincher, but Fincher's not as domineering. Fincher, like, number one thing, never bring a cell phone to set. You do, he will nail it to the wall, literally. He gets out a nail gun, takes it to the wall. All right, next scene. And then he's not as domineering, and he doesn't try and make you feel like you're such a piece of shit because you didn't get the scene right immediately. Hell, that's just like in Full Metal Jacket. The part of Joker was originally supposed to be played by Anthony Michael Hall, but because Anthony Michael Hall was actually battling addictions at that time, he was having trouble getting on set and actually doing that many takes. He couldn't stand it. It bored him to no end, and to which Stanley Kubrick fired him. Stanley Kubrick was just like, okay, you're fired, gone, and he hired Matthew Modine. And thus, now we have Matthew Modine, now known as Joker, instead of Anthony Michael Hall. I mean, there's been examples of directors, and whenever it comes to making a movie, creative control is everything. Whoever has the most creative control has the say. It's just like when the producer's in control, it's everything the producer wants. When the director's in control, it's everything the director wants. When everything works cohesively to form something great, like, for instance, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kevin Feige, I am convinced, can work with any director and make a movie good. Because you look at silly subject matters like Doctor Strange, and you look at Scott Derrickson, whose previous film was, I believe, a movie about a killer clown. And all of a sudden they decide, oh no, you're going to direct the next Marvel movie. Okay, which one am I directing? Doctor Strange. Oh, okay. I don't know anything about magicians. It's like, oh, it's okay. We'll help you out along the way. And it's a masterwork. It's another really good Marvel film. Mm-hmm. And it's just like Infinity War. I mean, balancing 64 main character speaking parts. How do you do that? And the Russo brothers and Marcus and McFeely and Feige found a way.
So that was one of my worries going into that movie. I was thinking there are so many characters that they're supposed to have in this movie. Yeah. I feel like it's gonna feel like nothing gets done with anybody, but somehow, like, it felt like so much got done with everybody, and it was really well done. Yeah,
it was a masterwork of balancing. It was a perfect balancing act between all the characters. The only thing I was really mad about is that Ant-Man, Hawkeye, and what's his name? But primarily those two, Ant-Man and Hawkeye, were not in it.
Yeah.
That was my main myth, but I guarantee you they're gonna be in the next one. They have to be, But
I was thinking Ant-Man maybe just didn't show up because one of the next movies was Ant-Man and Wasp on the way. So
that's true.
I mean, they made a point to put that line in there from Black Widow where, hey, they both took a plea deal to protect their families because they do have,
that's true.
They both have
They're
children.
the only ones that have like real families that we know of. I mean, for all we know, Nick Fury's got like 3 families that he balances on the side somehow.
Could be.
He's a player like that, All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. This was Dead Meat 2007, The Mist from 2007. And until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
Micah.
Nick.
And we'll see you later, everyone. Peace out.